Hello, and welcome to the Horoscope Vault, a show that explores the world through the lens of astrology. I'm Charlie, an associate member of the American Federation of Astrologers and astrology reader for radio's The Bob and Cherry Show. And this episode is for the week beginning Monday, April the 7th. This week, we go back to normal programming with the show now that Neptune is in Aries. All kinds of confusion and possibilities of perfection, illusion, delusion, and the like have been brought to the surface. Maybe even some sickness, maybe even some extreme tiredness, or complete visionary and amazing realizations too. But this week is full of course correction energy as part of the transition that you probably already feel is occurring, even if you don't necessarily see it completely. Check out this episode for more information on that course correction for your sign. This week, your energy is best used channeled towards identifying areas for improvement and then making those changes happen promptly. The areas of improvement are really based on where the sun falls in transit in your chart. These are going to be the kind of literal themes of life, the parts of life that require something to be fixed. Or maybe you're already in the process of fixing something there. For Aries, this week's course correction is with your life direction. Where are you going? What are you doing? Taurus, this is about retreat and maybe comes with some solitude for the purpose of fixing something. Maybe course correction for you is to do with vacation or just going somewhere else and letting your subconscious be healed. Gemini, this is to do with a friendship or social matter. Cancer, the course correction is in your professional life, it's in your career. Leo, there are amendments happening in education or travel. Virgo, this is happening with your taxes, or it's happening with deeper psychological, emotional matters. Libra, a course correction is happening in your relationships or with a general agreement. Scorpio, this is with your wellness and work life. Sagittarius, the course correction is about how you invest your time and energy or your choice of extracurricular activities, your choice of hobbies, something you're pursuing as pleasure, or one of those is going through correction. Capricorn, you are course correcting in your home life, your roots, your childhood, your living space. Aquarius, this is within your thought processes. And Pisces, this is starting with your money and self values. The tempo of the course correction moves in an interesting way. It's stillness first, followed by logical realization and mental adjustments that allow you to realize and agree and confirm and be okay with the fact that this area of life needs a course correction. And then that's followed by a timely and effective repair. It's the idea that getting something right, putting something right in the area of life relevant to your sign comes just in the nick of time so that it didn't get to the point being beyond repair. Starting the week out, knowing that a course is being corrected. Monday, April 7th, Mercury direct in Pisces. Now, if like me, you've been terrorized by internet issues or miscommunication or losing your voice, then this should be the point from which all of that starts to ease up. You regain immunity to crisis. You become that little bit more of a survivor, thanks to the things that you've been white knuckling through, gripping your fists and white knuckling through for these past 3 weeks. Mercury going direct is ideal for those last minute tax paperwork matters or any kind of other information rich task. So think applications, agreements, documents, all of these do better after this direct motion. And actually, if there are some things that are financially oriented that don't have a time specific deadline, Then you might want to wait until after Saturday when Venus also goes direct too. But Mercury going direct on Monday happens the same day as Venus in its retrograde in Pisces, makes a conjunction with Saturn in Pisces. These two planets, alongside one another, are in the Pisces degree of transition. So this is like the moment of earning a little reward or a little badge of honor for yourself for having got through or proceeding to get through a pretty tough, not just few weeks, but in general, a pretty tough time. It's been a bit up and down, with maybe more consciousness of the downs than the ups. That's always the way it works. But transition now and its message is this flickering light. You're aware that you are fully in the thick of a transition. And I want you to look at the structures of your life and I want you to highlight 2 or 3 things that are clearly going through change. Is it your relationship? Is it your health? Is it your living situation? Your career? Your efficiency? Your organization? Your money? Your purpose? Or just your plans for the future? The good news with this retrograde Venus conjunct Saturn, where Saturn means less than, Venus going backwards, Venus going retrograde is also, not indicative of gain. The good news is that decline has been exhausted. The maximum point of decline has been reached. And now the only way is up. You've endured crisis and you're serious about embracing change. Where maybe previous versions of you might have been, awkward or uncomfortable with change, resisting change, just not about change at all, reserved of mind. It might be more so that now you're kind of chomping at the bit for change. You kind of revel in the fact that change happening right now is likely to offer a brighter next chapter than you thought was possible. A brighter next chapter than if you had stayed in the recent status quo. This is a juicy, tasty, long-term transition with minimal feelings of stress, concern, or guilt, because what's coming next is the best that's yet to come. April 8th, Venus retrograde in Pisces still. That same planet, that same motion, that same sign is in sextile with Uranus in Taurus. Venus is still in the degree of transition, but now we have another planet in the mix. So the Uranus degree in Taurus represents honesty. So transition and honesty in a trine. A trine means that there's a natural and supportive relationship. And looking at the harmony, it's really a supportive relationship between the ability to endure deep change and the capacity to face truth without resistance. So letting go becomes clarifying. As something fades, as something breaks down, it reveals what's real and also what's been maybe a bit of self-deception. The truth clears the way for rebirth. And so now you're recognizing what is no longer sustainable. And this makes space for a new personal order to emerge. And it's through self-awareness. And self-awareness is honestly just knowing your limits and accepting them. Through this comes transformation that can take root in solid ground rather than fantasy or denial, rather than fear of dreaming too big or fear of not being able to achieve. Because you're no longer in this trial and error phase of doing what doesn't work. Now you know what doesn't work. And you also know what matters to you. You know what aligns with your values. And that's where the real growth begins. You may be in for a pleasant surprise this week with the way that things unfold and with the way that everything becomes a little bit more exciting. April 12th, Venus goes direct in Pisces. This would be the ideal day to finally file taxes if you haven't already. Venus goes direct in the same degree that it's been lingering in all week, that transition keyword again. Plus, Saturday, April 12th, the full moon in Libra too. This full moon happens in the degree of right timing. And together, transition and right timing, Venus direct plus the Libra full moon, equals an end to indecision and an end to persistent re-evaluation. If you've been circling the same thoughts or choices, going back and forth without settling on something, a clear path forward, if you've been questioning things deeply, maybe too much, this ends here. It's your wisdom or your survival instinct that has been keeping you steady. And Venus direct motion with the full moon unlocks access to resources that were locked away, that were preventing you from getting things underway. So, finances that were inaccessible become accessible. If there's never been the time, now there will be. If you've felt more than 3 degrees separated or what have you from the people that you need to be closer with to get that progress, that gap really starts to close in. The full moon will always correspond with a turning point, and during this full moon, you realize that the process of waiting while still feeling essentially the pressure to act, or the process of second guessing, or the process of being ready mentally but not materially, has ultimately had value. And that value is showing you the benefit of right timing. In those moments of waiting, second guessing, and feeling unprepared, the universe was and is aligning things behind the scenes. And patience was and is all you have to pay. Just like how delaying a purchase sometimes gives you time to find a better deal or realize it's the perfect time to buy when the price drops, or how pausing with a creative project that you might be eager to rush with actually gives you time to learn new skills that elevate your work when you're finally ready. Or patience in this instance is like how waiting in a relationship helps you gain clarity and realize what you truly want and what you truly need before moving forward. Or something like hesitating on a job offer and the delay leads to a different but more valuable job offer or connection that clarifies your decision. Things had to happen in this timing, and you'll come to terms with that this week. Each horoscope is time stamped below for your convenience. Be sure to listen to the readings for your sun sign, but also your rising sign and your moon sign too. Aries, this week you feel more optimistic and motivated to talk. Maybe you've been kind of quiet, not reaching out, connecting with people, friends, and the like. But now a conversation you have could lead to a bigger opportunity or more understanding. So initiate conversations this week with the people that you enjoy talking to, or the people that you just feel an urge to speak with. There might be a private or unresolved relationship thing stirring behind the scenes. It might be around home or family matters, or it might be the one on one relationship. And this drives you to address any emotional wounds connected to that relationship. This might bring up some hidden desires. This might bring up some suppressed anger. And that really pushes you to look for and create more safety or peace in your connections. But first, it does make you confront any emotional boundaries or any fears tied to things like isolation or failure or authority figures or matters to do with men. And this is just an opportunity to commit to deeper healing and to redefine your long term goals. A new idea around money or maybe self worth does emerge from a moment of solitude and introspection. And there are some unusual financial shifts this week that might force you to rethink your long term goals. And if any of that hits home and you need more answers and you want to reconnect with your life path, your direction, if you want to see what the value of your relationships versus you, yourself, and your boundaries have on this course correction of your life, then go ahead, click the link in the show notes, book a date and time that suits you. We will use your natal chart to extract 10, 20, 30 dates upcoming and analyze the cycles and patterns that you're currently in to help you moving forward. This week for Taurus, a hidden source of income or a private source of income becomes unexpectedly beneficial. You might just have more access to resources. You may also release something emotionally that makes you feel lighter, and then therefore that's easier to move through life, attracting abundance. When you release emotional or psychological blockages, that does in turn improve your financial stability. Reflection and spiritual practice brings you insight into your material resources and or your emotional bonds. A conversation with a friend helps you understand a past pain or a past secret. And you might even feel called to write about this or to speak about this or to just reach out to resolve something that's emotionally lingering. And the most active healing comes through communication. So this might involve you distancing yourself from certain friends as much as it is the potential of you trying to fix something within a friendship. And if not with a friendship, this might be within yourself with your subconscious when hidden doubts about your future emerge for the purpose of reevaluation, your ability to restructure. It's testing your ability to release. A surprising or liberating moment helps shift your role, what you think you're doing, where you think you're going. And you might spend some time in introspection, some time alone. There might be some cutting off. You might be forced into some downtime through your health and wellness. And this is for the purpose of you kind of revamping yourself, maybe presenting yourself in a new way, or even reconnecting with your ambitions or identity if you feel like you had gone off your current path. And if there are wellness matters showing up, these are direct indications and hints and signs from the universe that you've diverted from what is essentially the bigger, better plan for you. And you can dive into and discover more about the source and the origin of this health change, this wellness change, this energy change, and also what the bigger path for you even entails. This is all available to see in your natal chart. The sixth house is where you'll look for wellness. The 12th house is where you'll look for confinement. The 10th house is where you'll look for direction. The first house is where you will look for how. Any transit or aspects happening to, through, and from rulers and planets within those realms will give you answers. And they will also give you like 10, 20, or more specific dates coming up in the next 6 to 12 months of what to watch out for or moments that you'll need to make a decision. Click the link in the show notes below to extract those dates with me. I will help you through that so that you can be prepared. This week, Gemini, positive attention within your friend groups, networks, or community boosts your confidence and your visibility. So there's a supportive connection that turns into a beneficial partnership. It's a friendship or collaboration. It's kind of perfect for right now. It aligns with your desire and it brings you the answers that you feel you need, especially if you're going through changes self-worth, or changes with finance, or changes through your work, career area of life, like a past career decision or a previous career goal could resurface. And it prompts you to act differently, and your ambition is fueled by not just your desire to follow your vision, but from support from an important someone. This is especially important to grab with both hands if a professional situation has been feeling restrictive. If you've been reassessing your long term goals and it's been resulting in emotional or financial weight, emotional or financial problems, there might be this very sober realization about what the pursuit of success and the achievement or lack thereof of said success has actually cost you, literally, financially, and emotionally. But it's an unexpected insight or message, an important friend or someone that helps boost and affect your path. And then as a result, you quietly pivot towards a more freeing long term direction. This may even be to do with the realization of a hidden talent that you have, or an idea for a project that you have, or travel, or education that is brought to the surface from an external point. And if you don't find that from your friends, from your network groups this week, it can be brought to your attention through your natal chart. The natal chart is clear and ripe with indications of what your talents are. It also tells you what your weaknesses are too. But nothing sings your organic innate praises like your natal chart. Its real, raw information is so affirmative and can help you tap into hidden talents and projects and potentials. So click the link in the show notes below if the external form of validation for what you're doing, for where you're going, and your vision coming from your natal chart is something that you've always wondered about. And together we can extract that info and arm you with 10, 20, 30 dates coming up in the near future of what to expect so you feel prepared. This week for Cancer, it's the quiet behind the scenes efforts that are going to bring you the most success. This is a new level of career potential, and it's only going to happen as a breakthrough in private. It's only going to happen as a personal mindset shift, or through adjusting your health and doing all these things quite quietly. And you may well feel very motivated to take action on something that was a previous idea or project or desire, which, if it's to do with traveling or it's to do with publishing and marketing and putting words out there, then that's great. It's a previous or an old goal that inspires new action. And you pursue this bold idea with a renewed passion and more concentrated direction. And the reason it will work now when it never really was ready to work before, that idea of the right timing, is that you have reevaluated your thoughts, ideas, and commitments around things like travel, education, and belief systems and relationships, your entire environment. Having reflected seriously on how the world affects you, but not just how the world affects you, but your world view affects your life, your partnerships, your friendships, all of the things. Now, a new or a revived perspective alters your ability to achieve goals. And through sudden inspiration or an unexpected moment of affirmation, something unconventional that you want to do, to learn, to publish, to promote, returns for reevaluation and achievement. It's a surprise that's also not a surprise. It's kind of something that you've always known, but maybe had removed your foot from the gas. You let it float away because it just wasn't doing the thing. And now it's ready to do the thing. And working on this in private, or getting affirmation of this in private, can happen through an analysis of your natal chart. If you are strong and confident and competent with your natal chart, look to a few areas. Look to your 12th house for the things that you sleep on within yourself, the talents and skills that you sleep on, the talents and skills that you have innately, but that you don't necessarily feel the confidence to move with. Look to your 10th house for the sign, the planets, and any transits happening there, and also the rulership and the position in your chart where that ruler is placed and the sign that that is placed in. This will give you insight on how your big, amazing, potential successful future is unfolding, and also what you can do to speed that up and what you can do to avoid the obstacles. And if chasing midheaven rulers and the sign and house that they're in, planetary transits through the 10th house, natal planets in the 10th house, aspects to the 10th house, aspects to the midheaven, and then the transits of the planets that rule them in the first place. If all of that is just like jargon, then I can help you through this, as well as getting together 10, 20, or 30 dates, specific dates to look at in the future for you to be prepared. Click the link in the show notes below, pick a date and time that suits you. This week for Leo, a creative idea or personal project or plan gains traction through networking. There is travel involved here. This is a group opportunity, and it may be through education as well. And it helps you align with your future vision. This connection might be made through teaching or learning. You might be the teacher, you might be the student, or it could be cross cultural. So it might be from abroad. It might involve travel, or it's just something different, abstract, outside your usual cultural understanding that supports your dream. There's a private emotional issue that might be to do with resistance to change, either your resistance to change or your discomfort with the speed at which things are changing, or somebody else's resistance to change. And it motivates you to seek some spiritual clarity, which you can do through a one-on-one reading. Your natal chart gives you the most clarity you can imagine by prepping you with 10, 20 plus dates of what's coming up. It's these dates that you need to be mindful of, where an important decision might need to be made, or an event that you need to be aware of. But this week, intimacy or financial entanglements resurface. Ultimate awareness is needed, particularly of dates, if these are things that are relevant. The matters may call for forgiveness, they may call for release, but the time frame of which they're happening is the perfect time. And if you want those dates in advance, click the link in the show notes below, book a time and date that suits you, and we can get those together. And you can sit with those dates and you can take quiet, introspective action to clear any hidden blocks or obstacles to your growth. There just seems to be a past issue involving debt or shared resources, the trust between you and someone else, or this restructuring or boundary setting that shows up this week, and you confront this limit or you confront responsibility around emotional intimacy or dependency. There might also be an old health issue or work pattern connected to stress and power dynamics that surface. This is just an overall surprising shift in career direction, and it may affect or be affected by a close partnership or financial agreement. This week, someone from your past could re enter your life through work or reputation, and it challenges your relationship dynamics, but it's an unexpected opportunity to change how you share power. This week for Virgo, you receive all of the support and backing that helps you advance your future. This could be inheritance that helps you feel stable. This could just be support that helps you advance your career. There may also be a leadership opportunity that arises where you handle shared resources or you handle some private matters. And it sparks this deep emotional clarity that helps you make a difficult decision or a public move to say yes to taking on more of that responsibility. Some kind of collaboration, or it leads to a collaboration on a shared goal. or a long term vision. And this might be a reconnection with a partner in a personal way or an ally in a professional way. Whichever direction it is, you resolve any lingering emotional tension through having honest conversations with whomever it is. This week is really a commitment or a closure moment, and it arises in the form of a long term relationship or a legal paperwork matter. Anything romance related can feel heavy or restrictive, leading to a serious reevaluation of what you even want. It might be someone from your past returning to test your boundaries in love. This week is all about partnerships. So, a partner or a close contact may present a new way of thinking. Someone may challenge your beliefs. There might be shifts in your relationship dynamics that lead you to new ways of handling your daily responsibilities, new ways of approaching partnerships in relation to not just the romantic ones, but also work and health and your daily routine. And there's just a lot going on between you and other people. There's a lot going on between you and other people in terms of agreements and disagreements and finances and costs. There is this loss, gain, value dynamic. And your chart is very good at showing you who this person or people is or are. It's great at showing you when the biggest decision points of these connections are going to be. Look for exact transits from transit planets to the planets that rule your seventh house and to the retrograde of current Venus in your solar seventh. And if that just sounds like jargon and you want help in doing it, or you would like me to do it for you, and you want access to those 10, 15, or 20 dates in the near future where you might have to make the biggest decisions or you may have to face matters with others, those dates where there might be final closure or contractual agreements, or that is just a good time to finish things off, click the link in the show notes below and we can pick a date and time and do that together. This week for Libra, your perspective on relationship broadens, especially through meaningful conversation and communication. Relationship themes surface personally and or in the workplace. A partnership might go through change and expansion that eventually leads to legal agreements. And you might feel compelled to take action on feelings to do with or a matter to do with someone from your past. This might also be a past health issue, a past work issue, something that is affecting your physical well being or your job. The emotional weight from home and family history, home and family problems, could also be influencing how you handle your daily tasks and your job. And the ultimate goal is really for this shift in emotional priorities, and that helps you break free from routines and the old and helps you express more personal creative power. That helps you express on an artistic idea that's hidden beneath the surface that you can't access because it's locked between relationship and commitment struggles, romantic secrets, privacy, and denials. So, first, pursuing changes in intimacy or shared finances. This will spark adjustment in your day to day habits, your day to day structure. And it's the result of your day to day habits and your day to day structure that transforms your creative and artistic abilities. This week is really showing you that there's a lot locked up and that a lot of your potential being locked up is due to unhealed matters to do with home, family, and other personal relationships, and to do with the ways in which you are not taking the best care of your health personally. Now, each chart shows in depth health potentials. It shows how you should eat, how you shouldn't eat, what you're sensitive to. It shows the time frame of health concerns coming up. These would be great things to be aware of, given that it is such a pivotal part of you breaking free and understanding your creative potential. And your natal chart also lets you know about those relationships that are good for you versus those that are not. To get deeper with this, look at your 6th, 7th, and 8th houses. What is transit through them, what the rulers of those are in your natal chart, what those rulers are doing, are there any planets in there natally, and are there any aspects happening too? And if that all sounds like complete and utter jargon, we can do that together. I can show you how to do that, or I can just do it for you. Click the link in the show notes below where we can get together with 10, 15, 20 plus dates in the future. Pick a date and time that suits you, and we will prep you with what to expect and when your biggest decisions need to be made. This week for Scorpio, a breakthrough in your health and work life is what improves your financial stability and or your resource management. There is a service you provide, something you offer, something you do, a project you work on, or something you create that has a stronger value impact and the potential to increase your income. Passion projects are not just reignited, they become connected to this elevated level. The more you believe in your path, the more you're drawn to expand creatively, possibly through, spiritual, cultural, or philosophical wisdom influences. Maybe something paranormal, maybe something metaphysical, maybe something that is not a tangible thing. Committing into a creative project with a more serious mindset, especially if it is in any of those areas, brings you the biggest stability breakthrough to date. And as you're moving through this creative evolution that spills over into your professional life, you may also revisit a past relationship. This could be a one-on-one personal relationship or a parental issue that has shaped your last several months. There might be a sobering moment about love or family or children or joy that is part in helping you redefine the project and the things that are worth your energy. What has happened in your relationships in the past, let's say 10 months, that is pushing you to commit and create your own stability? Maybe one of your relationships took a surprising turn, either romantically or family or professionally, and now you want to feel liberated. You want to feel independent. You want to feel strong. You want to feel like nothing in the external world could ever shake or change your home and personal life. And so these two things run parallel. A difficult personal situation of the past is opening any artistic or creative blocks and is pushing you to continue pursuing a reignited passion with a project that is showing amazing potential. And in your personal natal chart, it will show who this relationship thing was with, whether it's, a romantic relationship or whether it was like family or just a friendship. And your chart shows the immediate effect that this had on your project. Not only that, it shows you the timeline of your project's success. So when best to release things, when best to incorporate things, when to register an LLC, when to do this, when to do that. It shows you the times for and against your best professional evolution. Check out your second house, third house, and sixth house for transits, for natal planets, for aspects to those natal planets, and for the transit of the ruler of those houses too. And if that all sounds too much, and if that sounds like complete and utter jargon, click the link in the show notes below, pick a date and time that suits you. I'll explain what these are for you, I will load you up with the dates that you need to know, the dates that come with the biggest decisions, and the dates to expect your biggest successes also. This week for Sagittarius, a joyful experience helps you clarify what kind of relationship you want. And this is either the relationship you already have and you feel more confident expressing yourself. A romantic opportunity leads to you understanding that you're in a supportive partnership, or you are the most amazing supportive partner, or you have the most amazing supportive partner. Or it makes you more confident in expressing yourself in order to attract the type of people that you want to attract. And this is the type of people you want to collaborate with or connect with personally and or professionally. And it's kind of framed by old emotional or family issues that resurface and that spark your desire for the correct type of intimacy and emotional honesty that may have been displayed to you through positive emotional family issues, or showing you what you never want to be like through the resurfacing of the not so nice emotional family issues. This week is full of the desire to take action to transform long standing patterns, especially any that are linked to home, family, and childhood, and those linked to patterns in love as well. Past connections stir powerful emotional reactions. There might be a family or housing responsibility that becomes heavier, that prompts this long term need for planning. You reassess what stability and emotional security even mean to you. And financial emotional boundaries within the family may need to be reinforced. And through implementing small, meaningful changes in your daily routine, your home environment becomes stronger. Communication around family matters can become more open or unconventional, or it may need to be cut off altogether for the benefit of your future. This week, you may also touch base with a surprise insight about your health that can be traced back to emotional problems with your family roots. Something in your health and wellness is originating from an unhandled family matter or some family stress. And your natal chart can show you when this health surprise could show up. It also shows you what this health surprise might even be, so it's less of a surprise. And it definitely shows you the roots, the origin within the family that may be causing such an issue. Click the link in the show notes below to analyze your chart. To do it yourself, you would look at your sixth house in relation to your fourth house, any crossover of planets in transit and natally. If the houses are tenanted, which houses do those planets rule? And the rulership of those houses, where are those planets posited? But truly, if that sounds like absolute jargon or you are still fresh in your astrology education path, click the link in the show notes, pick a time. We could do that together and figure out what to expect, when to expect it, and how you can remedy the situation. This week for Capricorn, you make great progress on home and family matters by addressing the daily tasks that need to be done and just head on facing responsibilities. It's this energy of private healing. There's this energy of rest. Rest improves your ability to show up, and it helps you find joy and meaning in the kind of small improvements that you're making in your living space and or your health work routine. There may be a past conversation or decision of sorts with a partner that resurfaces for discussion, or maybe for ultimate closure. You may even act on something that seems to be unspoken in a relationship, especially around family organization matters. Be aware that a productive dialogue leads to the best deepest emotional understanding between you and someone that you are close with. There may be moments of feeling mentally or emotionally blocked, especially around expressing your needs or having those needs heard. So, a serious conversation about things that are, quite important to your personal identity or your commitment could arise. You may revisit a matter that had been buried or forgotten about, or you may fall back on habits that no longer fit who you are. You're drawn to communicate more freely, so do experiment this week in how you share your voice or how you share in pleasure or joy as well. A more creative delivery of your message, a more creative delivery of your words may actually lead to a new way of expressing value that lasts. And finally, there may be a romantic connection from the past, a feeling, or the connection itself that bubbles up to the surface and returns unexpected. But to give yourself a chance with expecting the unexpected, you really can dive into the matters of your natal chart, looking at any planets in your fourth house, transits to your fourth house, aspects to your fourth house, the ruler of your fourth house and where it's posited in the chart and what sign and house that falls in. Looking at your third house configuration to do with communication. All of this is super helpful for when you do revisit a communication matter. And if those things are difficult for you to decipher because you are early in the stages of your astrology education, click the link in the show notes below. You can pick a date and time that suits you, a 20, 30, 50-minute or 1 hour session to unravel the emotional matters and the expression of your needs, to unravel when this serious conversation might even occur so that you are prepared rather than blindsided. We can do that together and also select another 10 plus dates from your chart for you to be prepared for too. So just click the link in the notes below. This week for Aquarius, a message or like a class that you take or something you watch leads to a very creative or social opportunity, and you start to feel more confident sharing your ideas. There's a fun or joyful connection that emerges from just this casual encounter. And there's a skill or a resource from the past that serves you now in your current job direction or with your health goals. It's a week for you to become more assertive about how you are valued in professional settings or your personal home settings. And in the personal home settings, there might be a financial or self-worth issue that motivates you to improve your daily routine or your work environment. Financial limitations and emotional insecurity are connected, and it could become more obvious, in which case it calls for reorganization. If there is a long-term financial or self-worth theme rooted in hidden fears, then it will resurface this week, and you feel the pressure to define your finances or your values clearly and commit to them in tangible ways. An unexpected change in your home life affects how you handle money. It also affects your confidence. And a new way of managing resources at home will help you feel more secure and free. There might be the potential of reconnecting with a family legacy or something family wise that reshapes how you see yourself handling matters. And really, how you handle matters is answered in your natal chart. Whatever it is coming up within the home shift, the financial shift, and the work shift that's rocking your confidence, it has an answer. It has a remedy. The remedy is visible in your natal chart through looking at houses 4, 6, and 2. Analyzing the planets in those houses, the planets transit those houses, the signs in those houses, the aspects to those houses, the rulers of those houses, and where those rulers are posited, Writing all of that information down and extracting it will give you the answers of how to handle this week. But if that is way too much, then let me help you through that. Click the link in the show notes below. We can look at your second house of income, your fourth house of home, and your sixth house of work. Extracting the dates coming up that you need to be the most mindful of that may come with some of the biggest decisions. This week for Pisces, financial stability grows through home and family support. You are boosted in confidence and universal support if you invest in your physical and emotional foundation, if you invest in your home. This might involve the need of a family get together and a family decision that helps you clarify, the specifics of these goals, the order in which to proceed through these goals. But investing in your home seems to come up top. You're motivated to act on a creative idea that might be in the home. It could also be tied to a project that is very closely connected with your self worth. And it might prompt a reevaluation of your goals for stronger personal boundaries. And in this sense, the personal boundaries refers to your literal home. Investments in your home could be the brick and mortar. Investments in your home could also be connections with love through family. On the topic of love, a past romantic connection might reappear and it prompts you to define what you really value in relationships. And you feel much more empowered to express your desires openly, to talk about what brings you joy, and to be really blunt about it. You might revisit a part of your identity that was shaped by a recent previous relationship. And sudden insight with this helps you break out of a limiting mental pattern. This week sees you expressing yourself in a new, more authentic way, possibly through writing or speaking. And a previously hidden idea or feeling comes forward, it bubbles up and changes how you see yourself. And to know the dates and times of when to expect these conversations or, the return of whomever, or the way in which your home, family, life reinvestments may unfold. All of this is available to see in your birth chart. Check the house 4 in your natal chart, the planets in the house, the sign in the house, the planet ruling the house, where that planet is posited, and any transits to it. And if that just sounds like a lot to do, then click the link in the show notes below. You can do that with me by your side. We'll extract the dates for you to be mindful of, the dates that come with the biggest decisions, and the best way to invest in yourself here on in. And that's it for this week. Stay tuned for more cool episodes coming up as I release new tiers, including astrology education, stock market astrology, and monthly live Q&As. Until next time, bye.